Come join us and have your say. Let's talk about our way. Remember, you are not alone. Huda is the light in your home. We'll talk about Huda. We'll talk about our way. Come join us and have your say. Let's talk about our way. Remember, you are not alone. Huda is the light in your home.
It's 8:30 Nigeria, 9:30 in Cairo, and I think it's 11:30 in the Gulf. But you know what time it is? It's time for Viewers Pulse. Of course, Viewers Pulse should be one of your favorite programs, of course, on your favorite channel, Huda TV, because I know I'm a little bit biased because I work here, but I truly believe Huda TV is the premier pioneer English language Islamic channel all around the world. What other channels do the English-speaking Muslims, non-Arabic-speaking Muslims around the world, in the countries like the United States, the UK, Europe, and all these quote-unquote non-Muslim countries, what other channels do they have at their benefit, at their disposal than Huda TV? So may Allah bless Huda TV, and please make dua for us to continue to make wonderful programs that benefit all Muslims and all around the world. And when we do make mistakes, or you have to email us and let us know and forgive us, because we're doing this for the sake of Allah. You guys, we have a serious episode. As you know, all this hysteria around the slanderous and blasphemous movie made against our dear and beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. So I wanted you guys to call in and comment on that. You guys know the number. It's 0020238555248 or 9. That's 0020238555248 or 249. And get your thoughts. Give me your thoughts and your suggestions and your feedback regarding this whole situation and how Muslims should respond when put in such a situation. If you check out Dr. Muhammad Salah's Facebook page, that's facebook.com/ms/official, you'll see he had, mashallah, a wonderful article about action and reaction. Give me an email, pulse@huda.tv, which should be on your screen now, pulse@huda.tv. Give me an email and let me know what's going on in your local community and what you guys are doing to respond to this terrible blasphemous movie and slanderous movie. Of course, facebook.com/huda.tv. I have the iPad in front of me now, so it's not an advertisement for Apple, but anyways, put your comments on Facebook, inshallah. Give me a call on Skype. It's Huda_TV. We made Skype just for you guys to participate and call in these programs live, and you can even participate via webcam. MashaAllah, Huda TV is broadcasting all around the world in Muslim and non-Muslim countries. So please give me a call and tell me what's going on in your community. How has your community reacted to this whole ordeal, in this hysterical, something that has turned into something to be quite out of control, really. So give me a call and tell me how you guys are responding, and what do you think the proper response should be. More specifically, I hope you guys got a chance to watch Ask Huda just half an hour ago. MashaAllah, the first half an hour was wonderful. It featured Dr. Muhammad Salah giving us a 30-minute reminder. He put the phone calls on hold. He really addressed this issue comprehensively and in a beautiful way. He quoted many beautiful hadith and verses from the Quran, and he really put things in perspective. He gave it a fair and balanced approach. A fair and balanced approach. He was a bit emotional, even crying at times, but he channeled that emotion in a positive way and encourages all Muslims to do so. Please get online, get on YouTube, inshallah. We will try to upload that as soon as we can for your benefit, and check out the rerun also that plays tomorrow. Of course, we're all thinking, feeling a bit strange at this time. What do you do? How do you react? Of course, this stirs at your emotions and your love for the Prophet, peace be upon him, which is why we prepared a wonderful video clip for you. It's something that's been airing on Huda TV. That's right. It's been airing on Huda TV all throughout the world for several years now. It was put together by a young man, Kareem Hassan, who recently has actually passed away. Yes, this young man was in his late 20s and he passed away just several years ago. So please make dua for this brother, because this brother put together this wonderful clip that I'm about to show you that's benefited Muslims and non-Muslims for the last couple of years, through millions and millions of viewers, via as well as online. So make dua for this brother. Ask Allah to bless him and to accept his work among his good deeds, because this brother has since passed away, but we keep benefiting from this brother's filler named Kareem Hassan. May Allah bless him. I hope you guys enjoy this short filler about who is the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him.
يا وجيه الدين والكرم وحليف العلم والحكم نبي 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 يا رسول الله سلام عليك يا رفيع الشان والدرج رسول 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 يا وفي العهد والدمام وحميد السعي والشيم آمين 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 آمين
Assalamu alaikum, welcome back you guys. I certainly hope you enjoyed that wonderful and beautiful filler put together by our dear friend and late friend, beloved friend, Kareem Hassan. Make dua for him, for Allah to accept his beautiful work. He was a young man in his late 20s who passed away, but before he passed away he made that beautiful filler, which I love, which I'm sure you love, and all Muslims love, and we continue to benefit from his work. It really is truly amazing. I really love that piece. That's why we included it into this program. I thought it was perfect timing. To think Leo Tolstoy, of course, the famed Russian novelist, author of the Dostoevsky brothers, Crime and Punishment, I'm forgetting his major work, War and Peace, I believe. No, actually, I think I'm mixing that up, War and Peace for sure. In any event, famed, acclaimed Russian author and writer, this man is praising the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. What about George Bernard Shaw? Anybody watching in the UK perhaps, or any student of English literature would know that he was a very famous author as well, praising the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Now these people are not Muslim, and look at the wonderful things they have to say. I believe that clip even showed Voltaire, which was, if I'm not mistaken, a completely disbeliever. I'm not sure, but I believe he was a French philosopher and had many strange ideas, and he's praising the Prophet, peace be upon him. What about Mahatma Gandhi praising the Prophet, peace be upon him? What about these modern scientists? I mean, who can really deny this man's greatness? To be honest with you guys, when I heard about this film and this movie and all this stuff going on, I thought to myself, there's no way that they can deny his greatness. When they made the cartoons, there's no way that their insults can actually reach him. This is just, the people that do these things have exposed their own hatred for humanity and their own racism and discriminatory beliefs and practices. They've only insulted themselves. When I come to think about it, really, growing up in the United States, we learned so much about various people like George Washington, Napoleon Bonaparte, Benedict Arnold, various American figures throughout history, as well as Western Europe. We even learned a little about ancient Greek history, Alexander the Great. What were the contributions of Alexander the Great today? Napoleon Bonaparte, George Washington, Benedict Arnold, these people that I mentioned. I'm sure some of them have some various contributions, but I never once in my entire public school education, as well as my time as an undergraduate from the University of California at Los Angeles, heard the name, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, mentioned in one class. Total blackout. I'll get back to my point in a second after we take this phone call from Brother Yasser. Assalamu alaikum, brother. I'm sorry, brother, for keeping you on hold. It appears the line cut off. You guys give me a call. You guys know the number, 002-0238-555-248 or 249. Please give me a call. Tell us what you'd like to see Huda TV do in this time. I mean, how can we respond to this? How can we use our position in the media to fight back against these criminal allegations and this slander? How can we fight back? We need your ideas for programs and fillers. What can we do in order to respond to this criticism? Going back to what I was saying, as an undergraduate at UCLA, as a product of the American public school system for the better part of my entire life, I never heard the name of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, mentioned once. We heard Alexander the Great, Napoleon, George Washington, all these other people, George Bernard Shaw, Voltaire, various scientists, various authors, Ernest Hemingway, all these people. What are their contributions to humanity today? I'm sure they made some small contributions, and we're grateful for that if they're positive and in accordance with our Islamic guidelines. But other than that, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is without doubt, if they don't want to admit that he's the greatest man to ever walk the earth, they certainly have to admit he's the most influential man to ever walk the earth. Why was he put in recently a man wrote a book, I believe his name was Michael Hart, in the top 100 most influential people in human history? He put the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, number one, despite many concerns and negative feedback he received from many Christians and Jews and atheists and people all around the world. Why did he put him number one and not someone else? Even other prophets like Jesus and Moses, may peace be upon them as well, because he said, without doubt, his influence, that is the Prophet, peace be upon his influence on the daily lives of so many people and on the course of human history is without doubt, without any question, the biggest contribution of a single man in human history. So the more they insult him, the more they insult us. It actually has a reverse effect. I hope you had the benefit of watching Let's Talk last Thursday with my dear friend Pierre Vogel. If you didn't, please, I recommend you get on Facebook, log on to, just type in Defending the Prophet on YouTube. And it's uploaded by me, Abu Wan Abdullah. You'll see a picture of Pierre Vogel. Click on that. He's amazing. He's at his best in this episode of Let's Talk. And he even shares a personal story. He said, Brother Malik, 12 years ago, before I accepted Islam, I heard a non-Muslim guy insulting the Prophet, peace be upon him, with such mean and cruel things. And I said to myself, I want to look into this. I want to research this. And that was the thing that ignited his search into Islam. And he accepted Islam shortly after. And he has made a great contribution and make a great effort. And he's striving very hard. And many people, and for the sake of Allah, and many people have come to Islam because of his efforts. Alhamdulillah. So, I mean, imagine. And in this episode as well, he quoted many beautiful Quran and Hadiths about people spending money trying to harm Islam, when in fact, in the end, they are helping. Why do I say that? I heard Brother Osama Shami say something interesting. He said, all media, all press is good press, even bad press. I said, how, brother? He said, because the mentality of Western people, and many people, intellectual people, I should say, all around the world, they want to investigate more when they hear something interesting, something even maybe outrageous. They want to investigate. They want to investigate the biography of the Prophet, peace be upon him. Of course, many people develop a great respect and become Muslims in the end. Speaking of Brother Osama, he did the show as well, Straight Path, the last episode that is live, and he really hammered this point home as well. Get on YouTube and check that out as well. We're trying to do our part at Huda TV. We're trying to do our share in the sake of Allah, in the work for the sake of Allah, to really combat and fight back against this terrible film that was produced. Really, what's sad about this whole thing, they suspect the man who put this film together was a convicted felon. What was he convicted of? Bank fraud and the production and intent to transport crystal methamphetamine. He was on, so the worst of the worst, the scum of the scum, the worst type of person you can imagine, on federal probation for these a convicted felon producing this type of crime. We call on the American government to limit this idea of free speech. We heard Dr. Salah say that. He said in 2004, the former President George W. Bush, he had put together a law passed in the United Nations called the Anti-Semitic Inflammatory Review Act, or something like that, which criminalizes any speech against what can be perceived as anti-Semitism, right? We saw this month, the California State Assembly, my home state, the California State Assembly passed a law that said that any negative speech against the so-called state of Israel is considered anti-Semitic speech and is punishable and can be criminalized. Why do they do that? Because of the students on college campuses, on the UC and CSU campuses, calling out against it, against the state of Israel, speaking out against them. So of course they want to criminalize this. As you saw Dr. Salam mention as well. He said a man in Australia was put in prison for 3 years, sentenced last week to 3 years in prison just for speaking his mind, because these remarks were viewed as being anti-Semitic. Now these people who, George Bush created this law for about 5 million American Jews, if that. Why can't the same respect be shown to Muslim people, 1.5 billion around the world? Why do we have to be blamed for reacting emotionally Why, under the guise of free speech, does the American government let us, or European countries as well, let a small group of people with the intent to create chaos in Muslim countries and among Muslims insult Muslims under the banner of free speech? Why? Freedom of speech has limits and it's selective, as we heard Dr. Salah say as well. It's certainly selective. Why can't they include Muslims and give us some protection for everyone's benefit? We saw that every time this happens, there's always chaos that ensues. Like Dr. Salah said, let's take a preventative step. Let's take a preventative measure and criminalize some of this language in order to ensure peace and respect between nations. So this was a great, if you didn't check out this episode of Ask Huda, I certainly hope you do. And who can forget, by the way, our good friend and scholar, I believe his name, Gary Garudi. Somebody pointed him out to me today. He recently passed away. He had written a book. Okay, Google this, you guys. He had written a book called Foundational Myths of Israeli Politics, or Foundational Myths of the State of Israel, something like that, okay? He was fined $18,000 for that book because it included anti-Semitic remarks. Let's take a phone call from Abdul Hamid from the KSA. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi.
How are you, brother? Go right ahead.
Alhamdulillah, I'm okay. I just wanted to say something, on this episode of the YouTube or the movie he made. It is not better to, tell people that not to, even of the punishment, I didn't hear the punishment of, having a blasphemous act. What is the punishment, and then who should give this punishment? It is not the ordinary people who should be, handling the or taking the law into their own hands and start killing people and all that.
Excellent question, Brother Abdul Hamid. I will try to answer that within my scope and ability, but I believe perhaps Dr. Salah can address this as far as who's better to determine what is blasphemous and the punishments. But I just want to reiterate what I said. Perhaps I can answer it this way. What I was mentioning earlier was I was reiterating what I learned earlier today, that in 2004, George Bush helped spearhead a law in the United States and the United Nations that said any speech thought of as being or perceived as being anti-Semitic speech is inflammatory and criminalized by law, which has resulted in the incrimination and incarceration of many people. As we saw last week, a man in Australia sentenced to 3 years for anti-Semitic remarks. Gary, some actors in America have been put in jail as well. So my point is, why don't they do the same thing for Muslims? Why did they accommodate a small group of people but not the 1.5 billion people? Why this double standard? Why does the United States government have the double standard against Muslims? That's my point. Why can't we see a similar law have applied and legislated and applied to Muslims in Islam? Why not? Why this double standard? I can't understand why. We're so keen to protect a certain group, but we leave the other group open for insults, which result in the death of people on both sides. As we saw in Libya, the ambassador was the American consulate in Benghazi was stormed and killed. We have protests, just like the cartoons, there was protests. Theo Van Gogh was killed by a man who remains in prison, a Muslim man who was unrepentant because he said he was defending Islam and he did not want the production of this movie to continue. So why all this hassle? Why can't the United States government just put some and the Europeans as well, develop some mutual respect for Muslims and put limits on your freedom of speech? Americans claim freedom of speech is their divine, sacred law, basically. And they always accuse Muslims of not being flexible and they always claim Muslims force others to believe what they believe. But in this case, we see the Americans are shoving their freedom of speech without limit down our throats, and we don't want to accept it without limits. We want it to have certain limitations. The director is yelling at me, he says we have another phone call. Go ahead, brother. Assalamu alaikum. Saleh from the KSA via Skype. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, sister. How are you? Can you hear me, sister? Saleh from the KSA? Alaikum salam. You're live on Viewers Pulse. Go right ahead, sister.
Hello.
Alhamdulillah. Go ahead, sister.
Assalamu
Alaikum salam. I can hear you. Go ahead. I believe the Skype call.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you, sister. Go right ahead.
It was, I was watching Al Jazeera.
Sister, I can hear you.
They were talking about, they were showing a documentary about the way the Muslims are treated in America. So I think this movie. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, go ahead, sister. I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, so I thought this movie it's done so that the people will forget about the way that the Americans are treating the Muslim at the moment. I think it's got something to do with the American government, Allah Ta'ala Alam. But then one thing that I want to say to the Muslim brothers and sisters out there that we need to be careful and we shouldn't, because they know the reaction that they know what's going to happen when this movie is done, that how we Muslims love the Prophet ﷺ, and for that reason, that's why they've done this movie. So that everyone is going to not think about what they're doing to the Muslim at the moment, but the reaction that the Muslim and the way that they take things when things like that this happen. That when they make a movie like this, they know it's gonna annoy Muslims because this is not the first time that it happens, and then they see what reactions that what Muslims do. So for that reason, we shouldn't really let them. We shouldn't do what they expect us to do. We should do this and it's okay for the Muslim to go out and demonstrate, but they should do it in a civilized way, not burning buildings and killing people, because that's not from the Sunnah. But we should really be careful and not to be in a position where they expect us to be, where they want us to be.
I certainly agree with you, sister. Thank you for the. Sister, thank you so much. Those are wonderful comments. I couldn't agree more. The sister Saleh from the KSA is saying, okay, don't respond in kind. Try to let's respond with dignity and show that we are civilized. Of course, all these people doing all this bad stuff that's happening, we shouldn't attribute it to Muslims because we don't know who has infiltrated. Whenever you have protests, people infiltrate it, and they have their own agenda to create chaos. So we can't say who's doing it. I couldn't agree with you more, sister. Also, we have another call from Sister Shadia. Go ahead. Assalamu alaikum, sister. Go ahead. Via Skype as well. Go ahead.
Alaikum salam, brother.
Go right ahead, sister. Thank you for calling.
Alaikum salam, brother.
Thank you so much, sister. Go ahead.
Yes, I really upset about the movie because I've seen already the trailer of it, and it's really very bad implication for us. But I think this is a part of the conspiracy that they are planning. Same, the release of the movie is same on September 11. They are planning to make a class on religion against us and the other religion. Yes, and it's really sad for us because we are brothers in Islam. They react, and for that one, these people, the one who made that movie, they love the reaction that we make, so that the blame will put on us. And I'm thinking about for the Libya, it's a very big conspiracy also. It's not burnt by Islamist extremists or not in our people.
Yes, sister, I couldn't agree with you more.
It's not from our people. It's a very well planned.
Yes, sister, I couldn't agree with you more. Those are very, very insightful words about how we respond. And these people that made these films and these cartoons, they want us to respond by doing this. Also, she said about 9/11, they released it right at this time. Of course, this is deliberate. The sister made a great point. This is all deliberate at 9/11. As far as the previous call, I just want to mention quickly the treatment. Let's look at the treatment that Muslims get in America and in the UK and the way we treat them when they come here. I'm an American. I walk around the streets safe and sound. I live here in Egypt. I walk around this country day and night. I never was scared once that some person would harm a hair on my head. Now, is this the way that Muslims get treated when they go to America? I don't think so. Really quickly before we end the show here, American Muslims in the UK, where are you guys? Why don't you speak up? Don't you know the gay people in America, when they have something to say, when they feel their rights are infringed upon, they go and protest. They write their senator and congressman. Where are the American Muslims? Why are you guys so quiet? Speak up and defend your prophets. Peace be upon him. That's the end of this episode, you guys. I got a little fired up. I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Until then, we leave you in the care of Allah. Excuse me, we have a phone call from South Africa. Okay, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, kaifal, brother.
Alaikum salam, brother. Go ahead. What part of South Africa are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm in Johannesburg.
MashaAllah. Go ahead, brother. What's going on?
Yeah, I just want to send a clear message to those whom they are insulting our beloved Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, we don't compromise with our religion. You have to send a clear message to them. Alhamdulillah, I very much appreciate what they have done, our brothers from Libya or throughout the world as well. The America, well, from my own point of view, they are not learning anything from what we are trying to teach them. Alhamdulillah, what happened to September 11 because of what they used to do to our Muslim brother in Palestine as well as throughout the world in Afghanistan as well.
I'm sorry, brother. I have to interrupt. I'm sorry, brother. I have to interrupt you because our time is up. I certainly apologize. But thank you for those words of wisdom. I couldn't agree with you more. So give us a call next Tuesday, inshallah. We'll continue on this topic day after tomorrow, inshallah. Until then, you guys, we leave you in the care of Allah. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We'll talk about Huda, we'll talk about our way. Come join us and have your say. Let's talk about our way. Remember, you are not alone. Huda is the light in your home. We'll talk about Huda, we'll talk about our way. Come join us and have your say. Let's talk about our way. Remember, you are not alone. Huda is the light in your home.